That's why so many people kind of like, even on a fitness journey, they're just like, I just want to get to this point. And once they get there, then they kind of go back. So you see people yo-yoing up and down because they're
Yeah.
just trying to shoot for the goal, but they're not trying to become that person. So it's like, forget about the
Yeah.
goal. Just become the person and live in that each day.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the TWR CEO Podcast. Today, I have with me a fitness guru, fitness coach, just all around is kind of like your guy, your go-to guy. If you are a busy professional, or if you're just busy in general, just most of the people here, and you're just trying to get back on track or get into some kind of routine when it comes to you hitting your health goals and just staying healthy all around, because health is wealth, as we all know. So Quan, why don't we just kind of start there and you maybe give us a brief introduction on yourself, and then your brand, maybe Be Fit.
Yes, yes. Where do I start? Well, thanks for having me on the Well-Read CEO podcast. It's really exciting to be on here, right? I know a lot of people who watch the show from Atlanta, the ATL, hot Atlanta. I'm
Mm-hmm.
based in Phoenix, Arizona, so it's a little different than Atlanta, but we got some black people out here too, just a tad bit. And yeah, what I do, I went to school for kinesiology, so I have a kinesiology degree background in psychology, and I was gonna be a physical therapist. And I'm like, you know, I always want to be my own boss. I'm not about to spend 100 grand on school, and I could just start building my own business. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I started with personal training. I did small group training, and my goal was always to do online training. Then COVID in 19 hit. I just
Mm-hmm.
went full fledged, and it was like really good for my business. And what I do now, I just focus on busy CEOs, executives, um, busy professionals getting in my ideal shape. But we do it without having to sacrifice your time and your lifestyle, and you don't have to do it with food restrictions. So pretty much every
Yeah.
plan that we do is custom based on the individual. So each plan looks different, and we just kind of build out programs for people. So yeah.
No, that is amazing. I feel like, when people say like solve a problem and you'll never be like out of business, I feel like you've done that like so well, because that's something that everyone struggles with, So I kind of want to just maybe start there. How did you kind of get into that space, or like what made you want to become like a fitness coach?
Okay, let me see. Let me go back into my archive. So, what made me want to be a fitness coach? I always was kind of working out. I guess I was going for the field of physical therapy, and there's kind of really similar with physical
Yeah.
therapy and PT. So, just going to school is like hand in hand. I'm going with trainers, but I'm going with PT. So, just the school wise, it was like close to what I was going to school for. I always
Uh-huh.
played basketball, and black people in the hood just like either be a basketball player or an athlete. So I'm like, okay, it don't look like I'm
Yep.
about to be Kobe Bryant. So I got hurt playing basketball, and then I
Uh-huh.
was and I had to go to physical therapy. So I was like, oh, this is I've never even seen this career. This is cool. Like, what do you guys? He told me, oh, he took kinesiology. So I just
Hmm.
followed the route that he was going through it. Then since I didn't want to pay for the schooling, I was like, this is
Hmm.
the route I'll take. But what really made me want to dive into it is because I'm sure you can relate to this. A lot of minorities, kind of black and brown communities, we just eat whatever we want to eat.
Yeah.
We celebrate around food, so everything is about food this, and then my mom, she calls it high blood pressure. I'm like, literally, it's just called your blood pressure. It's not supposed to be high, but she's like, I got to check my high blood pressure. I'm like, you don't even got high blood pressure, you just call it that. But we just so used
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean, obesity, diabetes, all that is just normal, and people call it hereditary. So I'm like, I've seen enough of it in my family. So I was like, I'm gonna do something to try to help this situation out. So I trained my aunt, like one of my first family members I trained, I helped her out. She lost 50 pounds, and I was just like, she was like, oh my gosh, I never like got to see my body like this since high school. And then from there,
Yeah.
the next person, then everybody inspired. So mostly it was just want to impact my family, and then it just turned into this big thing. You know?
Yeah. That is Oh man. You just said that like eating is it's kind of part of the culture a little bit. You know, you kind of hear too eating can be emotional, like it has kind of those emotional ties. But
Mm-hmm.
another thing you just pointed out was that like you said that maybe obesity is hereditary. In like your journey, like being a fitness coach, even with your business, do you find there's some truth in that, or is it more so just maybe your mindset, or I guess more of that culture piece to it?
Yeah, I still don't. Some people might want to argue with me on
Uh
this
huh.
about the science, but I don't think it's hereditary. I think what's hereditary is the habits and the mindset that we attach to
Mm,
like, our children. And you know, it's kind of like generational curses. A generational curse doesn't only have to be about your wealth; it could be about your
mm-hmm.
health as well. Um, so I always tell people like every time you see like a overweight kid, usually the parent is giving them something that the parent is like overweight or like doesn't do anything, and they're putting those bad habits on the child. So when they get older, it's like they're like, oh my, I'm just big boned or I'm hereditary, but it's
Yeah.
it's more of a habits than the thing. But it's not only about the weight loss. I do just we focus on education, we focus on your improving your fitness, but I just
Uh-huh.
want to give you that example. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's not just generational wealth, it's also generational health. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I really love that. I think you're doing some great work, obviously. Um, I think we actually just touched on like this next point, just kind of inadvertently. I talked about, like, I want to put on here like digging deeper, being like mindset is a huge factor when it comes to fitness and health. Um, how do you kind of tackle that as a coach? Did you kind of maybe get some maybe psychology pieces in there? Like, do you kind of bring in other team members to help with that? Because I know a lot of times it can be deeply rooted in that
Yeah.
way. And a lot for life was that's like the first major milestone or barrier
Yeah. So how do we tackle the mindset as a health
as a
professional? So
brand. Uh huh.
yeah, so it's a lot of deep diving and definitely a lot of psychology behind it. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, probably most people, they don't realize that they're emotional eaters. You eat when you're either stressed out, when you're bored, when you're angry, when you're
Uh-huh.
anxious. You know what I mean? And they don't realize that. So we try to just recognize those triggers and set up things. I'm saying we because I work alongside of a nutritionist. And we
Mm-hmm.
go hand in hand. I kind of build off the fitness side, and then she kind of does the nutrition, and then we hop on coaching calls with them, and then we kind of go through a plan. So the difference about us, we're not just sending you like, all right, here's a plan, and then best of luck, because you can get
Yeah.
a plan anywhere. It's about like breaking those barriers and like, man, I'm having a hard time sticking with it, or I'm binge eating at night, or I'm doing these things. So we try to um, client by client basis see what like barriers. It might be like a self-image thing. You might so
Mm-hmm.
for example, some clients have been overweight their whole life and they're like they see themselves as this person that's like like I'm just I'll be fine with just weighing this amount of money. I'm just fine with just seeing myself like that. So we might just give them that psychology that you can see yourself differently. So we tell
Uh-huh.
clients stop focus on being outcome based and then focus on identity based. So outcome based is like, you know, I want to reach 150 pounds. But instead
Mm-hmm.
of just trying to reach 150 pounds, say I want to be a healthy person, I want to be able to work out regularly, and I want to be someone who's just healthy and fit. So when you start focusing on the feeling and the person you want to become, the results start coming a lot faster.
Mm. You know, I've heard that before as well. You know, the feeling piece. A lot of times I think it's just a microwave mentality, right? It's so easy for us to like just skip over that and just be like, yep, I want to be down
Yeah,
50 pounds. I want to lose 5 inches on my waist, you know?
right.
Um, but you missed that part of it, that psychological part of it all, that really trigger that's going to help you along your journey.
Yeah, yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, so that's why so many people kind of like, even on a fitness journey, they're just like, I just want to get to this point. And once they get there, then they kind of go back. So you see people yo-yoing up and down because they're
Yeah.
just trying to shoot for the goal, but they're not trying to become that person. So it's like, forget about the
Yeah.
goal, just become the person and live in that each day. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you got me on this podcast because some people might not want to work out. They're like, oh, you know what I mean? But it's become that same mindset goes with fitness, health, and wealth. That's why we're called Be Phenomenal because I mean, really, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I was just tired of my family being average. There's nobody going to college. Like I literally didn't have anyone. Like when I say like my family didn't go to college, I didn't have any cousins, any uncles, like nobody I knew. I'm sure it was some
Uh-huh.
people out there that went to college, but I didn't know. So I was like, I'm gonna try to get people to improve their fitness, uh, to become the best, to their best self. So become their best
Yeah.
self through fitness and health. So if you can improve your fitness, you usually start improving, your other daily habits, and it's a trickle effect. That's why we're
Right.
called Be Phenomenal, because I want you to be fit but be phenomenal overall. So yeah,
That's
I'm
amazing.
rambling right now, but I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Yeah.
No, you're talking straight facts. Honestly, I really appreciate it because a
Mhm.
lot of times that's a good point. I want to like kind of backtrack to. You said that people just kind of set the goal and then they just kind of stop, and then once they hit that goal, then they're more prone to
Yeah.
backtracking. Right? It's almost like you're setting this goal, but then what happens after you meet the goal? You're
Mhm.
not setting yourself up for continued success after that, right? You just
Right.
kind of inadvertently put this like dead end on like your journey, but by becoming that person that you want to be and like how you want to feel, taking that into consideration, then you're taking it to the next step and saying, okay, even after I lose that 50 pounds, I still want to feel and be a healthy person. So this is what I have to do to make sure that I'm continuing to be a healthy person.
Yeah, yeah. And the same with business. A lot of
Yeah.
people either have, it's either one or two. It's a lot of different goals, especially if you're starting off. Either I want to make 100,000 or I want to make $1 million. Like I want to reach that. But say if you
Yeah.
make your first 100,000 and you reach that goal, but if you didn't, become a six figure earner and become, have those 6 figure habits,
Yeah.
your next year is not going to look like that, and it's going to be really hard to sustain and build to get to that million. So start becoming that person. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about being outcome based. Become identity based and keep living and breathing like in that. You know what I mean? So
Oh, I love that. Become
yeah,
identity based and outcome based.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm over here thinking because like pretty sure like most people, the year just started and you're writing out this whole list of goals that you want to get done by the end of the year. But now I'm like, I need to go back. I need to go update some things on my list, to make sure
Yeah.
that I'm calling that identity piece out, right? I'm calling out how I want to feel in that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
not just the numbers, alone, not just the numbers alone.
Yeah. And what I've realized too, I've been reading a lot, and I'm just like, if you focus on the actual day and not like, because I tell people sometimes you might think it's your diet, you might think it's your workouts, but a lot of times it's your stress, and just the
Mm-hmm.
stress of thinking about the future and the unknown causes you to gain weight, causes you anxiety, causes you depression. That all affects your health and your wealth. But if you
Yeah.
can like just focus on each day, and like when you're becoming identity based and focus on that day, like when I wake up, I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to have the best day possible that I can have, because that's all we really have, like in our present. But most of
Mm-hmm.
our time is focusing on like, okay, what's tomorrow going to bring, or what's what I did yesterday. But if you can scratch all that and be like, I don't care if I ate horrible last week or yesterday. Today's a brand new day. I'm about to have like at least the best day that I can possibly have, because that's all you
Yeah.
can control, and then build on that and kind of live in day type compartments, and just be like, all right, I'm going to focus on being this person just today. That's it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday, and
Yeah.
become that person in that day. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you eat an elephant?
right,
One bite at a
yep,
time. That's
right.
that's
Let's explain it. Yeah, that term, how to eat an elephant. Yeah,
like that. That's what I say all the time. I'm like, when I feel myself getting overwhelmed like that too, I'm like, you know what? She needs to just focus on the day,
that's
get
it.
through the day. Because honestly, like if you do that for so long, then you're gonna have a stack of like days where like you notice like these little small like nuggets of like achievement, and then like it leads up to your big progress at the end, your big kind of like goal at the end of the
Yeah.
maybe month, the year, whatever it is, right? But it's
Mhm.
because you took it day by day and you didn't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, stack up days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if anybody
I
listening
love.
to the podcast, I recommend Habit Share.
Uh huh.
So I use this with my clients. I'm kind of giving away one of my gyms right now, but it's a simple. It's just a habit tracking app. So if you start really
Uh-huh.
tracking your habit, there's a lot of different apps. Well, I use the one specifically called Habit Share, and you can
Mm-hmm.
share it with friends, family, whatever. And then when you start living in those days and stacking up days, start tracking what you're doing. So whether you want to be a CEO, you want to become healthier, start tracking your habits. And it's real easy. You just press one button. It doesn't take a lot of time, but that kind of gives you a whole overview of what you're doing each day. Some people
Yeah.
are like, oh, I had a good day. I'm doing pretty good. But like, what does that mean? Like, did you stick to your food? Did you read your book? Did you meditate like you did? And then you can see like, oh, I'm really not consistent like, as I thought I was. So, and then that kind of helps you turn everything around by tracking your habits. So recommend you guys doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so you just call it like a podcast, maybe kind of like in that arena. What are some of like your favorite reads, I guess, around just like fitness or maybe health and well in general?
Was the word was my favorite what?
Reads, like your books.
Okay, my favorite reads for health in general. Let me see. The Atomic Habits, because I'm just really
Uh-huh.
big into habits. The
Uh-huh.
reason because um, I tell people it doesn't matter what nutrition plan you have, what fitness plan you can have the best plan, but if you can't stick to it long term, uh, it's not even
Yeah.
going to do anything for you. So Atomic Habits is not specifically fitness, but they do talk about that in there.
Yeah.
And to start with that one, because I got to think about another one. I got to think about another, but that's a good one.
That yeah, I would say that's a good one. I have it on my list. I haven't gone through it yet, but I've heard really great, reviews about that one. So I know that's definitely up next. I'm a big,
Mhm.
habit person. Like I posted on my Instagram the other day. I was like, the DNA of your success is in like your routine, it's in your habits. Like, um,
Yeah.
it just starts with that. That's the bottom line to that piece. But I wanted to also go back to one other thing you mentioned as well, and maybe kind of ask your kind of advice or kind of opinion on this. So you said that your company, your brand, you guys kind of focus on like the holistic part of it, right? It's not just getting in the gym. It's not just working out, right? So what do you kind of say, or how do you kind of help someone through that's like the gym intimidates me, and that's why I'm not going, right? How do you kind of like help backtrack and like uncover some of the, I guess, biases there?
Okay. Let me think about that. So if someone came to me and they said, I'm feeling, intimidated by the gym, I'll have to probably unpack that and kind of see why
Uh
are
huh.
they saying that. So it could be a reason they might go on there and they might know what to do. So what
Yeah.
I'll do is I'll develop a plan and I'll explain exactly what to do. So when they come in there, they'll have a strategic plan,
Hmm.
or it could just be a body issue. Maybe they don't want other people seeing them working out, so we can develop a plan at home and then kind of slowly build them and slowly transition them back into the gym. But I really have to unpack and see like why, you know what I mean, for that
Yeah.
specific one. But
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people get intimidated. They don't know what to do, or they're just feeling like people looking at me, I'm looking crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to work out at home. But believe it or not, probably 60, 70% of our clients work out straight from home.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that. I was about to just ask you, like, do you kind of recommend or like see any difference between working out at home or working out in the gym?
Now, I wouldn't say I recommend it because I work out in the gym. I go to the gym.
Yeah.
But it just depends on person by person basis, especially if you're like super busy and you just like it's not feasible to be like going back and forth to the gym and like it doesn't really
Hmm.
fit your lifestyle. I recommend doing it at home. But whatever you can keep up long term, I recommend that. But be open to working out,
Hmm.
at home because you can get the same type of results doing it at home.
Hmm.
But it's just by person basis.
Yep. It's like you're reading my mind because that's what my next question was. Do
Right.
you think that
Hey.
home workouts are effective?
Yeah,
There's
I'm asking
that
some
debate.
people. Yeah, they definitely. If you're doing the right thing, it's effective.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people when they're working out at home, they might be just looking up something on YouTube. Uh, Got to plug myself. I do have a YouTube. Be phenomenal. Check it out. But but if you're just looking at something that's not really custom to you, I don't know if it's the best. But I'm gonna tell you this: like if you're doing something, it's better than doing anything. Like some people try
Yeah.
to make it super complicated. If you're not doing anything and then you're starting to do something. As long as you're burning calories, you're moving muscles. It's better than not doing nothing. So don't let nobody say, oh, you need something custom specific. Yes, you do, but just getting your body moving. I tell my clients, especially if you're busy, try to find ways to increase your NEAT. So what that is, it's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's all the exercise, it's everything that we're doing when we're not exercising or sleeping. So when you're walking up, when you're, taking out the trash, when you're washing dishes, when you're walking. So try to be intentional. A lot of my clients have like a Fitbit, or me when I work a lot from my computer. So I'm like, I'll try to take a break and let me intentionally wash my clothes, or let me sweep, or let me keep moving on your feet. So doing things like intentionally, or going outside and taking your kids on a walk or a dog. So try to find ways to increase your need. That will help out as too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does your YouTube channel, you just plugged it, do you kind of have workouts on there as well?
Yeah. Actually, just posting one today. Yeah, I post every like twice a week, and I have a lot of workouts on there, a lot of fitness and nutrition advice. Um, so yeah, you can check that out for sure.
Okay, perfect, awesome. Okay, so I have to ask you, because I mean we're gonna be pushing people to you anyhow, but do
Yep.
you have like maybe three favorite like workouts, three favorite things to do, whether you're in the gym or you're at home, that you could share?
Okay, I'm trying to see. I got my personal ones, but I don't know if people want to do that. You know what I mean? But
Okay,
I'm a
let's hear it. Let's hear it. What are they?
Yeah, just my personal is like lateral raises, like it's just like a
Mm-hmm.
shoulder exercise,
Yeah.
and of course the standard bench press, and then doing a barbell curl. But uh, those are my favorite ones. But I think um, one of the most, you know what, I don't want to say that because I want to say one of the most effective because
Yeah.
uh, yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can do. But burpees are really good. I know people hate that. I want to say the B word. That's why I can stop myself. Um, and just getting your heart rate up. I tell people like it doesn't take that much time. People think that you might need like a whole hour to work out to get an effective workout. No, if you have a plan, write out what you're gonna do before you go to the gym. That's probably one of my best suggestions. Like don't worry about which ones are the best or the favorite. Just have a plan before you get in there, and
Yeah.
don't sit around too long. So I see people they'll do one workout. And then they'll be, oh yeah, they talking to their friend. Let me go get some water. And then let me post a picture on Instagram. Keep your
Yeah.
breaks kind of short, 15 to 20 seconds, and then go to the next one. So just keep your heart rate up and just make yourself uncomfortable. And it's good. So I don't want to say one workout is better than the other.
Yeah.
Just start to push yourself. Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know if you saw my face when we said the B word.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to say it. I tried to stop myself. Like, I'm gonna say it. Yeah.
Listen, I think it's a universal like pain in the behind. I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, I don't know many people that like burpees actually. So,
No, yeah. Yeah.
but I've heard that they are, I guess good for you or effective or whatever. But
Yeah.
I guess
No,
maybe we'll see.
yeah, the best workout and the best nutrition advice is something that you can keep up long term. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And be open to switching things up. I know a lot of people, this is what we deal with most of the time, Shanice, is
Uh-huh.
when a client comes to me, a lot of times they tried a bunch of different diets. They tried keto, they tried low carb, and they kind of destroyed. They're usually a little bit older, 40 and up, 45 and up. And they usually destroyed their metabolism because of they're trying all these diets and they're cutting out all their carbs and they're restricting themselves.
Yeah.
Um, so don't be afraid of the calories. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, oh, you want to drop the weight, you have to cut all your calories out. Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of if you keep cutting out your calories, you try to destroy your metabolism in the process. So sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
have to do this thing called a refeed and refeed them to get their calories together. So if you haven't seen a nutritionist or a dietitian, or if you don't have the means for it, maybe just go to myfitnesspal.com and then
Yeah.
they'll write all of your macros out. I know it's hard to actually keep up with, but at least you'll know somewhat of a number
Yeah.
that you can rock with. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a good point. I actually just got like a fitness coach like myself here on like the East Coast, but And she gave me like a plan, with my macros and everything like that. And I realized that when I started following the plan, I actually had to eat a lot more, to like get the goal that I wanted to. I feel like that's where people mess up, right? Because they have like this preconceived notion, like I need to just eat less. It's like, no, you're cutting out some of the things that you actually need to help you reach your goals. It's more about what you're eating. I realized a lot of the foods that I was eating were, high in carbs or like high in sugar. And that's not saying those things are bad, but it should be within certain ranges and certain levels to hit your goals, like for your body type. So
Yeah, yeah. And it all goes back to the outcome based versus identity based because weight loss is not like a linear process. I try to tell my clients this. It's not like
yeah.
just because you're eating the right things, you could be perfect on your macros, but that doesn't mean your weight's going to go down like, every time, every week. It's going to go up and down, but if you can just focus on becoming that person, eventually you'll get there. But so many people get frustrated, like, man, I've been doing it for 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
and I'm still not where I want to be. You know what I mean? So if you keep focusing on that long-term goal, it's like it's going to be really hard to get it. Yeah.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
Yeah. Process.
Okay. So one of the last things I'm probably want to ask you, on your kind of like social page, you have, that you help, busy professionals, and then you say optimize health. What does that look like for you? Like, what does it mean for you guys, and how do you help optimize health?
Yeah, yeah. And it all goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? It's like a holistic wellness plan that we do. So it's not only about the fitness. It's not only about trying to get your nutrition right. It's about everything. So, for example, we have a client, Tony. He's actually the president of the Special Olympics they were working with last year. He had a frozen shoulder, and then he's like busy professional, but he also was a diabetic. So optimizing health for him was like we were able to get him off of insulin medicine because of his nutrition, and he lost the weight. So he didn't have the sleep apnea anymore. So that's just like one example. I can run through a bunch of different examples. Let me see. We have another client, Laura. Like she was able to get off of the high blood pressure, stuff like that. So I really want to know like the other tangible things. Like, is there are you concerned about getting diabetes? Do you have high blood pressure? How is your energy in general? Like, are you always sluggish? So that's what optimizing health is. Like, okay, a weight is, trying to get to a specific number, like whatever. That's like almost a vanity thing. But like, how do you want to feel? So I try to focus on the feeling. And even a tip for the listeners, try to focus on the feeling that you want to have and try to just feel that now. And that's going to help you get there quicker. And I say this all the time, health and wealth are it's really similar. So same thing with your wealth. If you want to become a 6-7 figure earner, what does that feel like? Each day when you wake up, what is that? Yeah, what does it feel like every day? Do you feel like you got a routine? Are you lively? You got to have a lot of energy to make money like that. So try to focus on that feeling that you want to attract now. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on fire. I'm going hard. I'm going hard with it. Let's go.
I know I was gonna say, like, the next question I was gonna ask you too was gonna be, do you have a favorite or maybe your maybe the best transformation or one that like brought you like the most joy from like one of your clients?
Ooh, man, I've been doing this for a while now, so I want to toot my own, but we have a lot of transformations. So
yeah,
we have a lot, but I would say probably either Tony because that was really good to get him off of the insulin medication naturally and with limited exercise. So that was like a really good one. He didn't really do much exercise, so I really like the ones with CEOs. But I had recently, I'm still working with the client Janae. She lost 60 pounds, so that was like the most I ever had anybody lose last year alone. But we did it in a strategic way. I told 1 to 3 pounds per week. It doesn't sound anything crazy, sustainable. But she was able to do it, and she was still going out, and she was enjoying her company dinners. She still was drinking her wine, and she still doesn't want to give up, to this day. And the pizza stuff, that's probably like one of my favorite ones that she dropped all that. She looked like a completely different person, but her lifestyle didn't change much. She was committed. I'm not gonna lie. And like she wasn't just BSing, but she definitely didn't change up her lifestyle. So either one of those two, probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think too, one of the things you just kind of hinted at, you said that like she's pretty kind of on it. Do you have like any, and maybe you talked about this earlier, but do you have any tips or advice for someone that's struggling with consistency when it comes to like their health?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of clients who struggle with consistency. I'm laughing
Yeah.
because I'm thinking about them. Yeah, I think a lot of times I'm just thinking about my conversation with one of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'll keep saying my client's name on here. I ain't gonna say their name. So just say one of our clients, just in case they watch. I'm gonna call them out. And she's struggling with consistency because she's like trying to go too hard, too fast, and she's almost a perfectionist. She's like, "Oh, I want to go 5 times a week." I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? Let's forget 5 times. Let's do one time. And let's do 10 minutes today. Like, let's do 10 minutes. She's like, 10 minutes. Like, what is that? And I'm like, it's not about the 10 minutes. Once you do the 10 minutes, you're gonna be like, well, I might as well, eat good since I started my day, right? And since I did 10 minutes yesterday, I might as well do it today. So I think
Yeah.
about starting small and getting those small wins. If you struggle with consistency, that's probably like one of the major things. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say just start small, like dial it back. So if you can't, do 3 days a week, do 2 days a week, do one day. So do that and also add in like a habit tracker so you can see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you need to have like a vision of what you're gonna like, what you want to accomplish. And even if like ask yourself, is it important to you? Because if I were to tell you, all right, if you're consistent, go to the gym for 5 days this week, and then at the end of the week, I'm gonna give you 10 grand. You're gonna be at the gym every single day because that end goal is important to you. So just
Yeah.
make sure, like, if it's something that you really want to do, make sure it's like, you have a reason behind it. You know what I mean? Don't just, yeah. Some people set a goal and they're like, oh, it sounds nice, but like I have a client, he's been struggling for years, but it's really not a priority to him at this moment. He runs a business and he's like, I want to be healthy, but I tell him you're never gonna reach your goal because you always put it on the back burner. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
got
true.
story for each question you ask. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. And you gotta make it personal. You gotta stick with
yeah.
it. What's your why? Why are you in it? At the end of the day. Um, but I know I keep saying this is my last question. That was really my last question. But
Hey,
um,
I got time. Yeah, yeah.
so before I let you leave, can you leave us with any words of wisdom, kind of words of advice as we kind of go about our day?
Yeah. Okay, let me think about it. So, yeah, just any words of advice coming from Be Fit Nominal. You definitely can become your best self through fitness and health. This year, for anybody who's starting off their journey,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest advice: do not worry about nobody else. So when you're on Instagram, you're seeing all these people working out, all these new programs. You're going to the gym. The gym is going to be packed right now. If you can focus on yourself and
Mm-hmm.
then just really just hone in on your habits, hone in on what you want to look like because with your body, your everybody has different body types. You're not going to look like somebody else. But if you can just stay laser focused on you and track those results, you can get
Yeah.
there a lot quicker. And just join up with a group, with a friend who's already fit, and that's just going to help you accelerate that process. You're not trying to go at it on your own. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, they're like, oh, I don't want to spend my money and invest in any fitness coaching or a trainer, but it's well worth it. You're doing it for yourself. And I don't think you'll be disappointed if you invest that money in a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to leave it right there, everyone. I will be sure to drop all of your contact information, how to get connected with you and your brand and your company down below in the description notes. Go check them out, y'all. Honestly, and just remember to take it day by day.